introduce myself. I'm the host, Chameleon. I'm an independent professional wrestler from Atlanta, Georgia, and this is my partner.
C-Dub! Yeah. Appreciate it. Good to be back.
So, C-Dub, would you like to do the honor? Can you introduce the guest?
What we got here is you got 15. I got my notes. I gotta pull my notes up again. All right. Coach of Lucha League Wrestling School. He's currently a champion. If he speaks up, you'll see his belt. It's a sweet belt, man. He's got a sweet belt there. Sure it's well earned. I've done some digging on him. Seen he's tagged up with some familiar faces I've seen in the scene of Georgia. Man, you know him more than I do. Frank Stone, Tamilian Venetian, brought us another guest. Appreciate this opportunity. Big man Frank Stone in the house.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the introduction. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Oh, yeah. There's that belt. That nice belt right there.
Look at that belt. So, brother, 15 years. 15 long years.
Yeah, brother.
Tell me when you started, what do you wanted to do? Like, where do you want it to go? What do you want to accomplish in the world of wrestling? And who was your inspiration? What was the thing that made you feel like I want to do this?
Well, I've always been a fan of pro wrestling since I was a kid. I've been watching it. So I didn't know it was something that you can go to a school to and actually learn. At the time, I did semi-pro football and all that stuff. So at the time when I actually found out that you can go and train for this thing, I was like, hell yeah, let me go down there and try this thing out, and took one bump that day and fell in love with it ever since and showed up every damn practice they had, never missed a single day. But to me, it was also being able to go after something that I saw on TV and I knew I could do. You saw it and you have this feeling like, man, if I had a chance to do that, would you do it? And then I had the opportunity to do it. It was like, hell yeah. So my biggest dream was to like make it to everywhere and try to get to most promotions and, just check it out and see how it was. Like, I understand the business and, if you understand this business, especially I had good trainers that helped me understand it a lot, was that, just getting an opportunity where you go is a blessing, So everything I was able to do or anything that I was able to do at the time, any preconceived goals, they're always a blessing to get, just working towards them.
And I see the T-shirt, and El Paso is the place of the late, great Hall of Famer, Eddie Guerrero.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever got a chance to meet him?
No, I have not. No, I have not, actually. A big fan of his work. I'll say that much. As a kid growing up in my teens, Eddie Guerrero was a big time influence, especially when I was watching SmackDown, when he started getting really hot with the Latino heat and all that stuff. It was amazing to me. Especially in this neighborhood, in this location in El Paso, you see a lot of references and a lot of memorials around the place of Eddie Guerrero, and pretty much all the superstars of Lucha is pretty much either painted somewhere on some wall in the city. So it's beautiful to see.
Nice. So, you started your training, and where did you start, and who was your coach, and how was that journey? And do you remember your first wrestling match in front of fans?
Yeah, I do. I remember all of it, and that's. I really wish that when I was first training, cell phones were just getting created. Like cell phones was just coming around. I think when I was just training, we still had the bat phone where you flip it up like that.
Motor razor kind of thing. Yeah, I remember.
It was like a sidekick.
Yep.
Sidekicks. But they didn't have great video and great camera phones on them. They were horrible.
I got pictures with from when Benoit was still around, and he was at Macon. and Rey Mysterio, Stacy Keibler, and I remember having to take a picture with a disposable camera and stuff back then because I was like, man, like I still got some of them printed out pictures, and now it's like nobody hardly ever prints out pictures anymore.
Yep, because everything's on the phone now. But back then, when I was training, we were, we were trained in the way of the old school. Like, you don't go back in the back and mark out and stuff like that. Then take pictures with the vets. You just kind of like sit and learn and, kind of like
Pick their brain. Yeah.
yeah, prick their brains and stuff like that. So back in my day when I was just training up and I got to be in a lot of locker rooms with some really great vets that I was blessed to be able to help me. I didn't think to say, oh, let me take a picture, So that was the era where I came up in like, hey, I'm not taking a picture, I'm not marking out, but I'm gonna, ask questions. So when I first started back in '07, I went to Body Slam in Miami. And I was trained originally by Soul Man Alex G and Primetime Daryl D and Bruno Sassy, Dan, CCW, Coastal Championship Wrestling. That's where I first started at. My first match was actually former ECW Hack Myers. My first match. That was a ball. It was great to be in the ring with Hack. We was at a little high school, and I was doing the varsity kid gimmick. It was awesome, and he was like, "Hey," I remember it so well because it was the first time I did the clothesline over the top rope, and he said he's going to clothesline me over the top rope. I'm like, all right, no problem. I'm thinking to myself, what is the first time I'm going to do it? But I've trained this before, right? I got thrown out the ring, so let's do it. So we get out there, and then we do the spot, tackle, drop down, leapfrog. Somehow he drop kicks me. I go over to the rope, and bam, he pops me, and I flip straight over, like literally no rope, just fly right over. And I land on my feet, and I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to fall. And then I fall down. And it was an amazing experience, man. The crowds popped, and I was like, okay, this is it. And, learning on the road, just learning from vets like that. And they're talking to me as we're in a match and just from all angles, man. It was a beautiful experience, whether you're a babyface or heel and just listening to a vet and just watching how they guide you around the ring. It was a great learning experience for me, man.
So, you've traveled a lot, right, inside the country. So
Yes.
how many states you've been so far, and what are your good road trip memories are?
Oh, man. I think I've been to most states that I want to go. I don't think some states I haven't been. I don't think there's wrestling there. But I've been to most states. I've been to most states, I think, and I've wrestled at least in most states. Some out of country. One of my best road trips I think I've ever had. I was with the Heel Wagon. Yeah, that's what it was. I forgot my man. We were down in South Florida, and he bought this like mini handicap bus. And he repainted it and he put it as the Heel Wagon on the side. So now we're driving to Georgia. Yeah, we're driving to Georgia one night because we have a trip where all of us are going from school. So we got to go pick up everybody at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And we're driving up there so we can make it for the next day, like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Man, so we're driving and we're picking everybody up. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. We're still in Florida and the driver's already getting sleepy. So I end up taking the wheel and I end up driving the whole trip up and the whole trip back.
Wow.
And it was just craziness. Yeah, it was craziness in there. Those guys were awesome. The memories are memories. And I know those guys, once we sit down, we'll talk about that road trip, but that's a whole nother story. What happened during that trip is a whole nother story.
C-Dub.
Yeah, I got when you was growing up, like you became a wrestler, like your style wise, do you have like someone you like emulate as far as your style goes? Someone similar like that you kind of like footage, say go back into the archives and watched a lot. You got somebody you drew inspiration from? I know you spoke on Eddie earlier, but like is there like anyone particular, like you did a lot of like just studying them, like I personally, I've been going back and watching a lot of Mid-South wrestling here recently. Because I've been training a little bit, trying to anyway, but you got anyone you draw inspiration from?
A lot. That's a great question, man. Very great question. Um, yeah, everybody. I watch everything. I'll say it more clearly like this. I watch a lot of the more old school stuff like AEW, Mid South, NWA, all that old school WCW. I watch a lot of the old school WWF and WWF.
Yeah.
Um, but when it comes to the new school stuff, I don't really like watch any of the new school stuff because everyone's just doing the flippity doo dah in the ring. So I like to watch all like the old school stuff. I definitely take part. And let me see, just today I was watching some old school Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels. Their feud was a phenomenal feud. That was a new release that was on WWE Peacock that I just seen, and I went, yeah, and I went back and started watching some of the matches they had from SmackDown and their feud going on, and it was very visual and just the techniques of what they were doing. This pro wrestler superstar versus this Olympic wrestler, and how they combined and worked together. But other than that, from my personal style, I do take from a lot of people, but I think my ground and butter is probably gonna come from like Ricky the Dragon because I enjoyed the way his fluidity in the ring. I enjoy his style of just being very smooth. So I try to implement a lot of my footwork the same as his because he was the most smoothest guy in the ring I've ever seen. So when it comes to footwork in the ring, I really pattern my footwork off of him. When it comes to just my move set or just my attitude in the ring, honestly, I take that after maybe like I'll say superstar Billy Graham, uh, even Pistol Pez Watley. I've watched great matches with Pistol Pez, with even Tully Blanchard and Arn Anderson. I mean,
Yeah.
I watched just the movements and how they're able to control the ring, and how they execute from one point to the next, the highs, the lows, changing the match and the how they change just the speed and the context of the match as they go through the match to the end.
Yeah,
So
they
it's a lot of people I
dictated it.
take.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one of my one of that led up to one of my other questions as far as rivalries go. Would you say in your 15-year span, do you have like a guy what- or you would say is like your rival in the industry, like whether it be in the indies, the circuit, like someone without a doubt you're always going to put on a great match, and it's
Mm.
going to be, and no match is the same, and y'all go from territory to territory, or however it's said now, like you different promotions. You have anybody that you'd like to throw out there as one of your top rivals,
Oh.
someone you always would look forward to wrestling going up against?
Uh, there's definitely some great guys I like to dance with out there. I tell you that. I actually have a few guys that I know. No matter what, you know, it's gonna be like Tom and Jerry. It doesn't matter. It's gonna be a good match. It's gonna sight. It's gonna be on and popping. There's a few guys. El Dragon that's down here in El Paso. He's a phenomenal competition. He knows both styles, the lucha libre, and he also knows the pro wrestling style. He's very fluent in both. He wrestles over there in Mexico. He also wrestles over here. He travels a little bit, but he's one of the great competitors over in this area that I would definitely like to do a shout out to. He's one that I have found myself, probably on the rope sometime with him. Abzal got good size, speed. His psychology is good, and he's a trickster in the ring. He's pretty fast. Another one would be Alex Chamberlain. He's out of South Florida. He's another great talent. He's another great hand, phenomenal guy, knows the business left and right. Anytime on site, I already know me and him, it's go time. That's probably that's bread and butter anywhere. Other than that, there's a couple of guys down that list too that I got. I always stay ready. I always stay ready. That's why I got the dojo down here in Lucha Leagues. So I'm always training and being ready no matter what the competition is. I'm making sure I'm at the top of my game. So, to me, it's like it doesn't matter who's my dance partner. I'm gonna perform no matter what.
Yeah, good. Might have to look up those two names, man. Well, any way got the matches out on YouTube or
Oh,
that you
definitely,
man,
definitely. You can
you
definitely
got to
check out
make
those
sure to
two
plug those
guys.
links somehow.
Yeah.
I'll watch it, man. I love me some. I don't know. Ever since I got the little itch, well, watching indie wrestling. Once I moved up to Warner Robins, where I'm at now, I just been going to all these shows around here, and it helps to be able to get my foot in the door with this little energy drink brand. and it's one thing to another, and it's just, man, I just eat it up. And I try to get it's hard to explain to someone who doesn't like. You got people that's all their life they've only watched mainstream. If you just one time just go to an indie show and just see the passion that these guys have when they get in the ring, and no matter how many people's there, you can tell when they're in the ring, they're doing it because they love it. Yeah, that nobody in their right mind is gonna go in the ring and take these bumps and do these crazy things. If some ounce of them did not love it. So
Yeah.
I mean, like I say, when you said you took your first bump and you fell in love, I already knew I loved wrestling. When I took that first bump, I'm up in age, but I took that first bump I did, and I was like, I could do some more of these. I've been going, and whenever I can, and I just love it, man. I just love it.
Lovely, man. That's what I like to hear, man. We got a couple guys just like that that's down there by the school now. They took their first roll and bumps, and they were like, man, they wanted more. So I told them, come back next week, and we start doing headlocks, takedowns, and top wrist locks, everything. I teach them it all, man. I walk them through the whole process, And it doesn't matter if they were like former guys from like luchadors or nothing, man. They all come down. They all learn a different style. That's good to hear, brother.
But we're all wrestlers. We have goals, we have purposes. We want to work with certain people. We like to have that great match, a great video. And now these days, to get somewhere like WWE, AEW, or in any big companies, it's hard. It's tough.
Yeah.
So how was it for you? Like when you started this, and what was your ultimate goal? Where do you want it to go? Where do you want it to end up? And what kind of matches you wanted to do?
So when I think everybody can say honestly that they wanted to end up in WWE, And I think once you start understanding the business even more, then you start understanding and expanding your aspirations and start realizing it is what it is. It's not a hidden thing anymore. Everybody knows that this business is a buddy system.
Yeah.
And it gets down to the point where, you can be the greatest athlete in the world, but that doesn't mean that you're going to be selected by the biggest company in the world either. You got to be in the right place at the right time. And
know the right people.
Know the right people. No, they got to know you. You don't got to know them. They got to know you. Okay, that's the difference. It doesn't matter who you know. They got to know you. So definitely being in the right place at the right time. But then there's also the alternative that I tell guys that if you don't have the opportunity to go to the big companies, then make the big companies come to you. And, just like if you're a small promotion or something like that out there. And if that's what if you have a small promotion out there and you have a group of guys that are, decent, talented, formal, proper training, go on, put on your own show, make a buzz in your own town. And what happens is, you might just get the knocking of WWE saying, hey, we like what we see. We want something from there. You just never know. It happens like that. Someone's going to have their eye on you in some capacity and might talk about you. So don't ever stop going just because you don't get to the top. You know what I mean? Then present yourself and say, hey, look what I got. And let them say, hey, you know what? They got something nice. Let me see if I can buy what they have. And, that's how some guys get to go up. Ring of Honor was an indie company. And then look what they created, and then look what happened. In almost 10 years, who's the top guys in WWE right now? The former Ring of Honor guys.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it goes on. ECW, what happened with those guys? They got finally bought out after they became a good company. Those guys became the top guys in WWE. So it's all just working your craft, following your passion, finding a bunch of group of guys and girls that enjoy the same passion, getting a good commitment together, building a business together, building an entity together, and just making the product run as is and just entertain the fan base that you have. And when that fan base grows up enough, guess what? You're gonna get the witnesses, you're gonna get the naysayers, you're gonna get the people all eyes on you. And guess what? Eventually someone's gonna get picked up, something's gonna happen, a buzz is gonna happen. So all you got to do is just keep pushing it. So there's different ways to honestly get there, different ways to make the same process. It just counts on how much passion do you really have for it? Are you only passionate to go play for the big team, or are you that passionate to create your own too?
So tell me, brother, there's so many independent professional wrestlers out there. There's a lot of independent wrestling promotions out there. And there's so much going on. And And you see a lot of these crazy flips, crazy spots, and people come up with something new every single day. How much that is kind of like um, giving a perspective, creating an impression to others when it comes to wrestling. Let's say Frankie's doing a moonsault and then a Canadian destroyer from their 650. So promoters like WWE is watching that. I mean, I don't know about the AEW thing. I believe they like that kind of a stuff. But in general wrestling world, how much kind of like impression that makes these kind of move sets?
Um, I'll tell you, it's a re-education, and that's the problem with it. I think the modern guys today. I'm not saying nothing's wrong with what they're doing, but it does have a toll, especially on the audience. It's re-educating the fans to see that this is a different style of wrestling. And what happens is when you start somebody off on a high, you can't go low. And a lot of these wrestlers are now looking for that holy shit moment, or sorry if I can't
Yeah,
say that, but they're looking for that pop.
yeah,
And I think working for the pop is not the right thing to do. I think working more for the story, or working more for the angle that the company needs to get over would help you even get over more. Because if the company can find faith in you that you can put over a story for them, then they're going to give you more time. They're going to give you more of a story. They're going to give you more stuff in a later time once you're able to help them get over the angle that they want to get over with whoever they're trying to get over with. So I think that's key first. I don't think it's bad that these guys have all these crazy moves. I think that's a great thing that they can do all that. I just think that not every match they should be able to do all that. Not every opponent is going to allow you to just go out there and be God all of a sudden. Like when does a human find himself fighting against Godzilla? You're not going to. You know what I'm saying? Like when do you find Hercules versus Hydra? Hercules ain't going to do all his best moves. He's going to be slashing their heads off. That's what's going to work. So it's like to find these guys and they do. A guy doing the moonsault, power driver, or Canadian destroyer, and then next week he's against a 300-pound guy and he's doing the same damn move set. And I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Am I really watching a story, or am I watching just acrobats? And that's the issue that I see. And great question. I can go on for hours about that one, but it's just tell more of a story. Get me entertained on why am I watching. You get me entertained into your position. If your finisher is a DDT, then work the guy's head. Figure out to get that guy off his rocker so that when you hit that DDT, it's even more of a stunner. If you work the guy's back, then make your whole story in the ring around what you can do with that guy's back, and figure out how to work that guy's back so he can get it over for you. So when you finally do hit your finisher, that it makes sense. It's like, okay, the fans are like, okay, we get what was going on, but build into that, and it's just a teaching, man. And I know it's not all the schools. I know it's not the schools because I've already did my own research and I know that the guys can go and get a formal education, a proper education from true veterans that has been in this business for 30, 40, 50 years, and they will still turn around and say, hey, I'm going to do what I did on AEW, or I'm going to do what I've seen Jeff Hardy do. And they don't understand the concept of how that got to be the way it was. They don't understand the storyline building to it. They're just like, oh, I'm just going to do that every match because I'm trying to get over. And when I do that move, I get over. And they don't realize it's not you getting over, you know. And if your whole career is just relying on the move, then how much is your career going to really last?
That's true. Speaking about these bigger promotions, even I believe you're still a fan. Like, once you're a fan forever. You still watch the products, right? You still watch WWE, AEW. Did you got a chance to perform with any of these companies? And if you did, how was your experience? Can you share your experience?
Amazing, amazing. I will say that. Um, there's no such thing as a bad experience, I think, especially when you go get an opportunity to go and work for any of those companies at all in those capacities. I got to work with WWE probably in 2007, 2008. That was an amazing opportunity, amazing experience. I got to go up there several times throughout that year time. And I got to sit with legends like Harley Race, and he sat and talked with me for like 2 or 3 hours. I got to sit with Undertaker, and he pulled me aside and talked with me for an hour. Mark
Nice.
Henry, he pulled me aside and pulled me up into the bleachers away from everybody and talked to me for like 2 or 3 hours. I had a great opportunity to really sit down with guys, and they were like directing me and helping me and showing me things that I didn't perceive before. And because they were able to tell me a little bit, then my eyesight was able to see a lot more than normal and understand the bigger picture of what it was. And it's a humbling experience, man. It's a very humbling experience, a very beautiful experience, because then you realize that these men and women go up there, they work so hard, they bust their ass, they put on a great show, they sacrifice so much, and they do it because they love doing it. I don't think there's really much of a paycheck. I mean, there's people that get paid a lot of money doing this in like the big companies, but at the end of the day, when you really do it, like look at all the lives you really touch. Look at the people that you affect. Look at the families, the kids, that the generation, the trends that happen. If you really get opportunity to really, get out there and do things. So the payoff is huge. It's huge at what they're doing. It's almost like it's a charity work almost here. So, but as long as you're in the right mindset and you're trying to actually do the right thing, it does pay off well. But that was a great opportunity that I got to go. I got to be in TNA for a while. I was up there doing security, and I was able to meet a lot of people, sit down and get to meet people. People teach me stuff. I'll get to watch a lot of the pay-per-views and sit back there and actually see how it organized and how they manage the whole thing, from tapings to the production to getting everybody into Universal Studios. So it was amazing just to sit there in Katy and eat some amazing food and watch that.
Yes, sir.
Everyone loves catering. And I also got an opportunity, I think in 2020, I went up to AEW, and that was another phenomenal opportunity. I know that the company right now, I don't know what's going on up there. I heard there's a lot of stuff, but I try not to pay attention to the politics part of it. But when I went there, I do know that it was an amazing opportunity. It was a fun crew. I was just watching and seeing how everybody operates, just feeling it out for the 2 days that I was there. I got opportunity to do 2 matches up there. One with Sean Dean, the other one with the Gun Club and Byron Black Emperor. And they were great guys. They were awesome. I got to meet everyone in the back. I also got to meet Tony Khan at the time. He was pretty cool. He was chilling laid back. Everything was pretty cool. I sat down back there, talked with the old heads, Tully, Arn, Dean Malenko. That was a phenomenal sit down and talk. My trainer, Soulman Alex G back in Florida, and all those guys, they all trained with Larry Malenko and Dean Malenko. So they were all good friends. So I just made sure I made that connection and reached back out and he said hi, just to keep the open circuits, everybody knows everybody. Just show that respect and love to everything, from him, they passed down the knowledge and everything to me. So it's like, saying thank you to, the guy that came before you, to that they paved the path. Thank you for opening up Florida. Thank you for helping the brothers in Florida learn how to do professional wrestling. Thank you for having that school. And that was passed down to the school that I got to learn the same art. So it's a great thing to be able to, sit with the legends like that and talk to them and pick their brains. And but that was the best thing, that you get to get the opportunities when you go to those major companies. And it's the same thing I say. I know a lot of people have aspirations. They want to go to these major companies. You just got to get on the map. You got to get your resume together, get your talents, and work on your promos, work on your promos, work on your promos, work on your promos, work on the promos. It's not so much the moves. If you can get a promo, if you can talk, you can get angles, you can sell yourself. That's the number one thing in wrestling. If you can do that, you can get a job anywhere. Not just in wrestling, But those are the main greatest things that I've always learned by going up there and working for those companies. Again, an opportunity to be able to work for them and do extra work for them.
Absolutely, man. It was a great pleasure for me too, because I remember talking to Double A, Arn Anderson, Jerry Lynn, picking their brains, talking to Jake the Snake Roberts in the back, and great knowledge, and Sting, Paul White, Big Show, and man, it was blessing for me. I'm just being straightforward and honest. My opportunity, I'm grateful for the first opportunity that I got there. It's all good, but I didn't really like the politics, fucking backstabbing, and all these shit. But
it's in everything.
It's that part I kind of like don't like it. But apart from that, getting an opportunity to talk to the legend that you grew up watching. That's and again learning the best things that we're missing now these days, and learning those experiences from that's a blessing. And same thing with WWE. I remember doing an extra work, and I was sitting in the corner. I didn't want to bother anybody. I was having food. MVP and Bobby Lashley came to the table, and Bobby introduced himself. So I have food in my mouth. Bobby is introducing himself to me. Hi, I'm Bobby, and I almost spit the food. This guy, Bobby Lashley, say, "Hi, I'm Bobby," in a very low tone. Such a humble human being. I was like, "This guy's a fucking monster." And MVP again, being so cool and awesome. And these guys being to places, they've seen pretty much everything. So talking about that, legends.
Yeah.
Did you met your heroes? Did you got a chance to work with anybody that you always wanted to work with? And tell me your experiences.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely got an opportunity to. Man, Jimmy Snuka was one of my favorites. He was one of my heroes. I just loved him. I mean, just the look of Jimmy Snuka alone. If anybody that really knows Jimmy Snuka from wrestling, the popping veins, the big shoulders, the triceps, the back. I mean,
Yeah.
he was just everything you wanted to be as a young man. You were like, yo, and then he did that crazy jump off the top and splash. I mean, like, it was just amazing. I got to meet Jimmy down at Body Slam University, and he got to go on the road with him a bit. And he talked with me, and he taught me a whole lot. He pretty much just would call me up, and we'll talk for hours upon hours, man. And it was amazing, man. He's like he treated me like a son, man. Like legit, legit. He'd say, son. Every time he called me, I'm like, hey, what's up, Papa? He's just like, son, let me talk to you, brother. And he'll just be sitting there and talking. We'd talk for like 2-3 hours, man, and he'll just drop knowledge on me, man. He'll just tell me about the business, he'll just shoot the wind, man, and just talk about good times and just lay it on me, man. The realness of life, So it was a good experience with him. I got to wrestle him too down there in Coastal Championship Wrestling in Florida. He also trained me up a little bit. I got a chance to train with Tamia before she went up to WWE. I got a chance to meet the whole Rocky Johnson, The Rock, his mom, all of them. I got a chance to get to meet. I got to meet the Samoan family, Alpha and WXW, and them. Got to sit down and have the midnight meeting with them. That was pretty cool, where they pass around the drink, and that was pretty cool to watch that family ceremony. I got a chance to get on the road a little bit with Marty Jannetty, Bobby, all these guys, man. They just took the time and just taught me stuff. I really enjoyed being around them, just learning from them mostly. But yeah, I got a chance to be around a lot of great guys. Oh, Vader and Bahamas, that was amazing. Scott Hall and DR, that was awesome. Cuban Assassin, Savio, they were down there too. That was crazy. Cahagas, man, just all over the place, man. I've been around so many different guys. I was just fortunate and blessed to be around like an all-star locker room at least most of my career, and just hearing the stories, the politics going back, the hands flying, the everything, everything, the food flying, the arguments, everything, man. It's an amazing thing. I also got to meet some of the legends that really inspire me a whole lot. Rodney Mack, he's still around. He's still bumping and grinding. He's still, bugging and thugging. He's amazing. Yeah, he's looking amazing, and got to roll around with him a bit and talk to him, and get mentored and pushed by him. He's a vet in the business. He knows this thing like the back of his hand. He lives and breathes, So he's a great one.
One thing about Rodney's, you remember that White Boy Challenge with him and Teddy Long on WWE SmackDown. So one of my first interaction with him, so he wanted to bring me to Texas Style Wrestling. So we talked. So I went there as in person, and I said, if I'm working with you, I'm not white, I'm brown, but still, I don't mind, but give me some extra time. He was laughing, and he gave me a high five, and he's such a like a sweetheart, like he's just amazing. C-Dub.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I see Teddy Long's over in that way a good bit. He comes over here a good bit also with us some promotions. Being that you're the like head coach, trainer at the wrestling school you run and stuff, any of the guys or girls that you've trained with or training, any of them made it like work matches? Like, how does it feel to actually get to see them take what you taught them and put it to work in a ring? How does that make you feel? Do you get like say like a proud papa moment type, I guess? I would only imagine how it would be if you, because like I've teach my son certain things and see him apply it. So I know if for you to see that, how does that make you feel? Is that you've taken what you got taught growing up and getting into business, and then you pass it along? I know that feeling. How does that make you feel?
Oh, great question, and that makes me feel ecstatic. Um, I'll say it's a great feeling to see someone. I'm not even gonna say just like learn from me, but like it's great to see. I'm the type of person I like to see my friends win. You know, so even when my days of training, when I was in the dojo with the guys training down at Body Slam in Miami, you know, if I saw someone got opportunity, I enjoyed it. I loved it. I wanted to see them excel. I wanted them to be better, you know. I know not a lot of guys are like that in this business, but unfortunately, you know, I'm one of the few that, you know, I celebrate when my friends win. So anytime I see somebody doing something great, I've seen a lot of my friends have phenomenal success, and all I can say is congratulations to them. I love the fact that they've done better. They've reached higher. They keep going. You know, they don't stop. You know, I mean, it motivates me to just keep doing more. You know, it keeps me in line too. It keeps me saying, you know what, it works. You know what I'm saying, it works. So it's almost like reapproval when you see someone else take the process, copy and paste, and the same process works for them. Then it's like, wow, the process works. Keep going, keep going. You're still gonna get it. So yeah, it's a lot of people that's like that, man. A lot of the guys that I've seen that I grew up with that came down and trained with us, like Ricky Martin. I think he's doing the Sakaro gimmick with Loki and stuff up in MLW. He's another one out of Miami. He used to come down there and train sometime on the weekends at Body Slam. Or I used to go down there, or I used to go down to Rusty Brooks' school. He rest his soul, but he passed away. Rusty Brooks used to be an old WWF jobber down there, and they used to have a school down there in Florida. And some of the guys back down there used to go and train with Rusty. So I used to go down there too and train with them and help them out and show them some stuff that, you know, we were learning. But by this time, Rusty was a little bit old, so he wasn't getting in the ring with you. So he would have me go in the ring and show it to them, and then, you know, it'll go back and forth. So
And I believe Pablo Marquez was there too, right?
Oh yeah, Pablo Marquez, man. I'll say that is one name I was unexpecting to hear, but but yeah, Pablo Marquez was there, man. He did his own stuff. He taught some great stuff at the time, man. When he first came in, he was actually showing us a lot of the New Japan stuff, a lot of that Mexican stuff, the fast moving fast, the go behind, the, you know what I mean, just the speeding up and when to slow down. So he helped out with a lot of footwork and stuff. He helped out. And I think he brought some of his friends down there, and we got to meet some of those guys and got a chance to work out with them.
Let's say, like, you know, there's a two side of the stories everywhere, two side of the coins everywhere. So we were talking about the nicer, good things, good moments. What are the bad things that you really don't want it to keep it in your head? Like, you know, I wish that would have happened to me. Like, you know, something like let's say a bad experience. The name of the podcast is Shoot and Stiff. So let's say for Shoot and Stiff, people, did you had any experience with anybody, any wrestler purposely try to hurt you? Or, I mean, if you don't want to throw the name, that's out there, but it's okay. But your experience, did you experience anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you have that in this business. You know, guys, you know, sometimes take liberty of you.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate and blessed not to have a lot of guys do that. I've had some guys try. I remember one time I was in a match way back in South Florida. I think Doc Rivers, he's a guy out of Port St. Lucie. He was an old school wrestler. I love him. He's great. He's amazing. He tried to stiff me, tried to punch me straight in the face, and I missed it. And I knew it was a shoot punch, and I think he didn't realize I knew. But then the next spot, I did a drop kick. I shot my drop kick straight to his face. So then after that, he was like, "All right, let's calm this down." I said, "All right." I really don't. I think he was doing it for somebody else, but someone else wouldn't step up and actually approach me. But I guess once he realized that he wasn't gonna get that satisfaction of me backing down. I've never been the type of guy to back down like that. I've never been the type of guy to just be bullied. I'm not gonna be bullied, and I don't like bullies neither. But I'll say this much. I also had another one, I think, down here in Texas with Blood Hunter, a guy from Great North Canada. I had a match down here with him. I think the match was supposed to go simple and smooth. First time ever working a guy. He came in, went to go beat me up a little bit. We started having a couple of exchanges back and forth. And then next thing I know, I'm fighting for my life in there with this guy. He's trying to beat me up and I'm trying to beat him up. So I'm trying to work with him. And all of a sudden he's like, not working with me. He throws my head into the guardrail, into the pole, and ends up pushing my head right through the between the ring ropes and the metal railing. I'm trying to stop it, and he's pushing my head forward through it, grinding my
Jesus
whole
Christ.
head. You know what I'm saying? So I'm over here pissed off already, and I'm like, I feel it. You can feel the hot streak of blood going down. Hey, hold on. Do you mind bringing me my charger in there, please? Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And I feel like a hot streak of blood go down my face, and I'm like, man, I'm thinking, I got to go and do the gig gimmick, right? This is the stiff now. This is the stiff. This ain't the shoot part. It's the stiff. So I think I got to do the gig gimmick, and the ref comes over. He's like, man, you good? I said, yeah, I know I'm good. It's just crimson red all down my face and stuff, man. But hey, the crowd was up. They're all standing. They're like, oh my God, you hear Kevin Sullivan over there having an orgasm and stuff, like I'm giving a blood sacrifice or something. He throws me back in the ring. I'm like, brother, just go home. Just go home, brother. So he goes home and he does his finish. He like barely gets me up and I like almost died. I'm like, oh God. Then he goes out there and grabs the table, posts up, throws me to the table. And then I got to wait for Justin Credible to come save me. And then Justin Credible was like 9 months pregnant trying to save me. It took forever to get back there. And I was already pissed off. So the guy picks up a piece of the board. He picks up like half the board and it still has like the metal piece on it. And he hits me with it again. But I'm trying to get dirt out of my eye. So I'm trying to get the dust out of my eye because I can't see nothing. He smacks me with the side of the table on the side of my head and busts me wide open again. So I'm pissed the hell off. And I'm thinking I'm going to kill this guy, right? I'm really thinking I got to go kill this guy. I'm going to get back there. So the ref comes over. He pulls me out the ring. And once I get pulled out the ring, hold up there. There we go. Thank you. So he pulls me out the ring. And he's like, let's get to the back. So I grab a piece of the table, right? The metal railing of the table. And I'm thinking if this guy comes out, I'm going to start kicking the shit out of him. I'm going to beat the hell out of him in front of everybody. If you go back and watch the SWE video at me getting pulled out the ring, I'm cussing my behind off. I'm legit. I'm pissed. And I'm thinking this is just bullshit, right? So my blood is hot, it's boiling. Everyone's standing. The show was good. I get to the back. I'm standing there, I'm walking like I'm going to the back to where he was set up with his stuff. So I'm going back there. And Teddy comes over. He's like, hey, brother, relax. I'm like, Teddy, I'm going to kick his ass. I got to go beat the shit out of him. And he's like, nah, brother, I'll take care of it, brother. So I say, he's like, and I'm all tore up. I got blood still hanging. Like, I'm still bleeding all over the place, man. I got wood and chips all over me, like everything. I look horrible.
This is the same guy who cut the referee on the forehead.
Yeah,
and it's the same guy Blood Hunter, aka David Nicholson Hannibal, is the guy who's actually run his own TV show YouTube show called the Hannibal TV. And the same guy tried to almost kill Terry Funk, Lanny Poffo, and even the old Deep South time period. He was chopping Micah Taylor on his chest. And when he was chopping, he closed his eyes and he ended up chopping him on his throat a couple of times. I guess he's arrested and he's in jail now.
Oh, my.
That's nasty. I know. That's why I train now with Deep South Wrestling. I know Micah Taylor. That's nasty. I remember hearing stories about this Hannibal cat now that you brought up the Hannibal name in the referee story. That's wild.
I like to share something quick here. And we got a chance to go to Puerto Rico, wrestle there. And simple gimmick match. That's what we call in the back. He asked me to whip him on the post. I did. Next thing I know, like he cut himself, and I was like, okay, what's going on? And he reversed me and he grabbed me kendo stick. Wait a minute, we never talked about kendo sticks. He started pounding me back and forth, and I was like, and it's packed. It's a sold out arena. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? Then he picked up a chair just like Sabu. He threw it in my face. I was like, Jesus Christ. And I got to do something. He came after me, and I gave him a real low blow, and I grabbed the kendo stick. I beat the fucking shit out of him. And I'm thinking, no matter whatever happens, I got to go home. I'm not going to stuck in this fucking island. But I give him everything I had. And after the match, he came to me, mi hermano, muy bueno. That was awesome. That was great. Everybody loved it. I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah, man. Oh. Seat up.
Yeah. I hope he stays locked up and I don't ever get booked in a match with him. That's all I gotta say. I mean, I'm a wild one too, but I mean, I just ain't gonna start like blading myself and smacking my the dude I'm across the ring with a stick, you know. And then thank you later after you hit me in the nuts. No, I mean, like a legit nut shot. Man, that joke was wild. I bet he ain't never been in a promotion that they drug tested. He had to be on some stuff, man. Shit, that's wild. Oh, that's like God. New Jack, like back when New Jack was trying to kill people and stuff. He must have.
New Jack was okay until you piss him off. He's good. He's in fact, New Jack is a good wrestler. If you go back and watch one of these Smoky Mountain Wrestling, you can see some of his good technique matches.
Yeah,
New Jack was awesome, man.
Yeah.
So I love when I first started watching ECW, he was one of the first ones I saw. How the whole match, his music was playing. I was like, man, I like this. And he just playing it like, and then bam, hit him with it. And I'm like, and he's on beat, on rhythm with it. And I was like, man, where's this at? Like, I want some more of this. And then I think that was back when TNN like got ECW for that short little stint. And then they was like, oh, WWE, we'll go, we'll take. I was like, man, that's BS. Like, I bet WWE reached out to TNN and was like, hey, you want us? Or something like that. It's kind of suspicious, man, but
they probably have a documentary about that somewhere that they're gonna release soon for us.
That's for sure. And this is another one that I want to ask you. So 2020, COVID-19 happened, pandemic happened. Everybody's life changed from that point of view, or that point of time. Wrestling was pretty much dead. How much it changed your life from 2020 to 2022?
I guess when it died for everybody, I got resurrected. Because I wrestled all the way up until about 2014, and then I was in the service. I did military service, and I didn't have time to go back and forth and wrestle. So I didn't come back into wrestling again until 2020. So with everything dying down, that was actually the perfect time that I got opportunity to go to AEW. And that's actually when my career restarted again. And pretty much I started training again and got myself prepared to the point where I'm at now. Still training now. Still got some things I want to improve on and get myself better. But my aspirations right now, especially with 2020 that happened, and my view, I think right now is the best time to become a wrestler. Wrestling's hot, and I think I got back in right when it was just hot, just right before it took off. I was happy to get back in because look at where we are now. Everybody wants to be a wrestler. Everybody.
And when you mentioned about AEW, you worked with several matches and everything. Did you got any like a critique, any positive or negative feedback from people What did they say? Did they said that they will invite you back? And also, one more question added to that. There was I've said in another podcast about um, AW Dark inviting independent professional wrestlers from all over the world, giving them opportunity, but at the same time, most of the matches that you see, it's kind of like a 5 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute squash matches. I hate to say like that, but unfortunately, that's the true part. And again, my question is: if you are looking for a talent, how in the world you will find a talent from someone under 5 minutes? So, what do you think? What was your experience on those?
Well, that's a great, phenomenal question, I think. And I think if anybody, I hope you cut this segment out for anyone that wants to know, like in the business, and they're like, hey, what should I do if I want to get exposure? I'm gonna say it like this: if you're just now starting, you get that 3 minutes of exposure, then that's a great opportunity for you because at least then you get that many eyes that's watching that segment. They're gonna watch you, whether it's your first match, your first year, your first 3, 5 years. If you get an opportunity there, that's a great opportunity. Take it if that's for you. At this point in my career right now, I understand how the chips are being played and how the cards are played a little bit. So I understand that the exposure I want is I want to be in more storylines. I want to be more based in character and building and stuff like that. So at this point for me, I would understand that my platform would be best for me to build it on my own, simply. Like people that's been out here, they have their own social media, they have their podcasts, they have stuff like that. Build your own platform. Start talking about what you love. Start inviting people that enjoy the same thing as you and start inviting them on there to talk about what you guys love so that other people that like it can come in and see their opinions, the changes, the viewpoints, everything that's from a different criteria. And that's how you would build your own so that you can get an opportunity to go up there and see that. I noticed that today in this industry, building your own audience is what's going to get you, on bigger platforms. And I'm not saying that because you have there's some artists out there, some wrestlers out there that have like 25,000 people on their social media. That does not equate to ass and seats at all. Okay, just because you have 35,000 people following you or 20,000 people following you on social media doesn't mean when you go to a city, 25,000 people are going to be showing up to buy a ticket to see you. It doesn't work that way. So that is not something I look at all. But if you're able to build up a social media platform where you can have 25, 30,000 people, you have a podcast like what you're doing now, and you can get out the information to different people and they can see different viewpoints from different people that they may be following or maybe liking. This also now makes a community. Now there's influence. Now there's opening to a different style, a different talk, a different talk can go out there that's not being heard. And that's what you're doing. So, I mean, that would be the way to go, to be honest, with the whole conversation for me, especially when it comes to the guys that are at least a little bit more established in the business, that had time on the road, that have the stories. This is the platform to be able to express yourself and tell those stories. The guys that are just starting in the business, if you want to get up there, get the 3 minute exposure. Get it. You know what I mean? Get that 3 minute exposure, put it on your resume. You know what I mean? I understand that at that point when you're trying to build a resume, you want to get to any company anywhere and start doing it. We did it. We did it when we first started out. The first thing we did the extra work in WWE. We did the extra work for TNA. We did the extra work for AEW. We were just trying to get in there and see how it was. What were the connections? Who were the connections? Who were the clicks? We saw it firsthand. You know what I mean? And as you see it, then anything you hear in the news, you already know how it's already playing out because you already saw it already. You already know. So it's a great exposure. So it's teaching you in the business, and then that also getting that exposure allows you to be able to partner with other guys that have the same ideas, the same values in the business to be able to create something like this, a podcast or a company, and grow it into something that is wholesome for the family in your area. You know what I mean? I think everybody think that because WWE is so international, they kill everything. They don't. You got to realize that WWE is only one company. They can only put on a show in certain locations at a time. AEW is only one company. They can only put on certain shows in one location at a time. If there's no wrestling in your neighborhood, if there's no wrestling in your region, then why aren't you the one that's putting on that show in your region for your community, for your people, and some of the stories that your community have? Like every people is different. You know what I mean? Every people is. I go back just as far as you do. My people came back from India, Mumbai. They went to Jamaica, rope makers in Jamaica, and I was the firstborn American here in America for my whole family. So I'm telling my different stories. I'm connecting my culture to wrestling, and I'm telling different stories. Some people get it, some people don't, but the ones that do, they love it, and that's all I care about. I'm just going to keep telling my story until everybody finds it.
Awesome, absolutely awesome. C-Dub.
Yeah. Oh, I was just get my charger put back hooked up.
You too,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah.
I had a wife do it for me.
Yeah, yeah, man. I feel you on that whole if you can't get there, create it yourself. Like that's kind of like how what I've been doing. I'm always always making content. Like something pops in my head, I have to do it. I have to do it then and there before someone else does it. You know, and no matter if one person sees it, 10 people, or however, all it takes is that one right person seeing it, and they reach out to you. But you got to know how to weed through the fake, the like, oh, want to collab or whatever. You just got to be able to weed through that and see through that. I'm just keep plugging. You just gotta keep plugging. You know, how you was talking about earlier, one of the guys that was training wouldn't get in the ring. He'd use you as the as like the body to do what he would coach and stuff. And you know, every now and then, Nick Patrick he'll get in the ring with us after seeing someone not quite getting the chain wrestling down or whatever. He'll get in there, and it's just I don't know how a year ago how I went from just watching and setting up at an independent show to actually like learning and hearing these stories from Nick and others and stuff and getting feedback from them. Like I have the promo, like the gift of gab promo type thing pretty good. They love what I do. If I just keep my body from up and keep it I guess and let me see how I can word this. How my mindset, my dreams, if I can get my body to keep on chugging along with that mindset, my dreams, and hold up for me, I think I'll be able to do something pretty different. I just got to get there, and I can't get like you said, just because um you're not getting it now doesn't mean you won't get it later. It's like even if, like you said, the 3 minutes that somebody might get on AEW, that's a larger platform for them to see, and it's how they take it elsewhere is what it is. That's like I know I haven't been seen on. I'm on Deep South's YouTube page content, as a character or whatever, who knows? Somebody out there behind the scenes at WWE or A might see it and be like, where the hell did this guy come from? You just gotta you never know. You never know who you might run into. Just treat everybody with respect. Like that's what they say. That's one of the first things they tell us when we was shake hands with everybody. You go in the building, shake hands with everybody, talk with everybody. You might not get that same feedback back, but at least let it be known that you made an effort, and that's what that's a big thing. Just make the effort.
Yep.
I have a question, Frank. Like before we wind up, a few more minutes. How much of self marketing is important? The reason I'm asking, when you decided that you wanted to be a professional wrestler, you're investing in yourself, going to a wrestling school, spending money, working on your gear, everything. How much of self marketing is important? What is your experience, and what is your advice to the guys and girls who wanted to do this?
Um, Self-marketing, great question. I'll say once again, wow, these questions you're asking are just amazing. I could only expect good questions like this from guys that's been in the business and understand the business, and I love it. I do appreciate these questions. Self-marketing is a very powerful thing. I think every school, every trainer, I know some of the old school trainers don't know so much about because that was before their time. But I think every new school, every current school in this day and age should definitely be teaching every student how to market themselves, create the social media platforms, create the separate entities, get the LLC, get the trademarks if you can afford it. If you can't, at least do it the poor man's way, where you mail it to yourself or something. At least then you have it in record that it's there, you did it, in case someone else wants to use it and buy it and makes a lot of money. Like, hey, I had that already. Even then, marketing yourself, being vocal, putting out good promos, being able to put out good segments, using the algorithm of Instagram and social media, knowing how to use all these different platforms, and not just knowing how to, but knowing how to ask the fans to like, share, and repost it for you. You know, a lot of content goes out, and people are afraid to ask. And I think a lot of times people are also afraid that if they do a show in one region or they're going to be in one area, they don't advertise to everybody. You know, my thing is like I'd rather advertise to everybody than to tell you, you know what, I have a show but you didn't know. So I'm not even going to give you an opportunity to go to the show and see me. I think that's the worst thing ever. I think you should advertise to everybody and you should just let them, go to the show. But marketing is a very powerful part, especially in pro wrestling, especially in this day and age.
Yeah, I was just sharing your entrance
Uh-oh.
video. Like you're sharing this on social media, like your
Oh,
entrance
yeah.
musics, your uh, promo pictures, and there's just a lot of wrestlers, a lot of workers. They don't have promo pictures, and they just kind of like they're out there. They just send whatever they have, selfies or the pictures that they've taken on the cell phones and things like that. And how much important is this to have an entrance or like share a highlight video with something like this?
It's very important. It's very important. I mean, McDonald's shares with you their Happy Meal on TV, right? I mean, you see a McDonald's every two miles that you drive on the highway, but yet you still see advertising on your apps. You still see advertising for McDonald's on television in movie theaters. You still see the advertising, even though it's right there. So I mean, you got to give people something. If they didn't make it to the show, show them a little piece of what they missed, a tease of what they missed. You know, don't show them the whole thing, but just give them a little bit, and you can market. You can take a 5 minute, 10 minute match, and you can cut it up into 30 different pieces and segments, and you can distribute it over the course of 5, 6 weeks, and then you're hitting the algorithm. You're posting something out. Everyone's getting something. They're seeing something of you. You're moving. You're making traction, and at least they get to say, okay, the next show is coming. You put out your promos. So yeah, it's all a major part. It's a major part of just being a pro wrestler. It's all part of it. Getting yourself out there, believing your own brand. You know, if you don't believe in your own brand, it's kind of hard to put your stuff out there. You got to believe in yourself and what you're selling.
And again, self promotion. That's what we're talking about right now. And again, doing something like this. This is one of your professional promo pictures, and there's a gimmick, there's a character. Everything is out there in one picture. You're telling 10 different stories in one picture. How important that is. Like, I mean, like I said earlier, like, people don't really care. They don't really go to a professional photographers. They just take some selfies or they just do some things on their phone. But again, what is your advice to the young guys and girls?
You say it again. If you want to look like a pro, go to the pros. You know, if you don't want to look like wish list wrestler, you know what I mean? You're not going to go that route. Don't take it with your cell phone. There are amazing, professional, and talented photographers in this business, and they go to shows. Sometimes, if you go to a show, the promoter already had them come down. They'll give you a phenomenal price. Some of them do it for free. Get it done. What's the point? Bring all your gear. Get it all done in every single piece if you can. Pay for it. At least then you have a calling card. You know, it's so bad when I go up to a wrestler, I like his work, and I'm like, hey man, do you have a promo? Do you have a calling card? Do you have a resume that I can get from you? And you know what? They don't have nothing. They don't have a business card. They don't have nothing. All they have is a social media. And the social media isn't even done. It's like 2 or 3 pictures and only has 100 fans. And I'm like, I can't market you like this. You're not marketing yourself. You know, so it really shows you how much that person, they may be taking the time to work on the moves in the ring, but they're not taking the time to work on their appearance, their public figure. You
And,
know,
and also some wrestlers out there, like go to Walmart, get some track pants, a t-shirt, wear some boots, and just go out there wrestle. And it gets some of these personalities, like public figure, like Orange Cassidy. wrestling in jeans, putting his hands. So, I mean, I understand that's his gimmick. And now I wanted to ask your opinion on the Pizza Man. What do you think about the Pizza Man gimmick?
I think there's a cup of tea for everybody. I'm not gonna say it's a bad thing. I think Luigi's a great talent. I think it's something different. I haven't seen anyone toss a pizza like that in a match, the whole match, all through the match. But I mean, once again, everyone, it's something different for everybody. Like after you watch it, for me, I was interested at once. I watched it. It was like, oh, okay. I'm not gonna buy it. Or I'm not gonna watch it again. I'm not interested after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, it's a great one-time shot. Guys like Cassidy, their characters, they have their fan base. Like I said, they found their fan base in the audience. It's nothing against them. It's just it is what it is.
One of my friend told me, like, brother, you got to come up with a gimmick like that. It's like, what? You got to come up with a laptop computer. You're the tech guy, so you should get in the ring, do some change, smack him with a laptop. And I was like, dude. Well, the Pizza Man, what in the world the Pizza Man is doing in the ring? It's the same thing. You're a tech guy. You should smack them and smack your opponent with
bank account. No, I just hacked your bank account. Check your account.
God Almighty. So where the listeners out there, where they can follow you, where they can find you on social media?
They can definitely find me on Instagram. That's probably the one app I usually use a lot. Instagram at Frank. What's that underscore thing? Stone at 85. Yeah, Frank underscore 80 Stone 85. It's the same on TikTok, the same thing, or is it Pin Me Pay Me? Stone 85 on TikTok. Frank Stone on Facebook. It's always, and when you look for me, it's always going to be Frank Stone. Even on our Twitter, it's the Frank Stone. They can definitely find me on there too. Man, but yeah, I'm always there. I'm open to questions. I'm always open. The DMs are open. Bookings are open. Man, just hit me up through the DMs, man.
What's next for the world champion?
Man, for next, actually, let me talk about this because what's next for the Southwest champion? This is the Far Southwest Lucha League Championship.
Wow,
this is not the heavyweight title, but this is the regional title for this area: El Paso, Armagado, New Mexico, Arizona, Clint, the Far Southwest. This is the title that's holding it. I just recently won this off of one of the local boys here. Beat them really good for it, and I'm happy to be the new Southwest champion. And I'm giving off an opening. I gave an opening to all competitors down here in the El Paso area in Mexico. I told them that if they would like to $1,500 down, $1,500, and I'll put up my own $1,500, and we'll go to head for this Southwest Championship right here in Lucha League. And I'm open to all competitors from all sizes, anywhere, even any genders. I don't care. I will beat them equally. It doesn't matter. The Southwest is open to all competitors. All you have to do is bring your $1,500 and contact Lucha League Wrestling on Instagram to put your down payment and put your qualification. We'll get the contract signing, and we'll make this happen on national TV right here for the local people of El Paso because they love to see fighting champions, and that's what I came to be, a fighting champion.
C-Dub, it's time to move to El Paso, brother.
Oh, man. $1,500.
That's all it takes, baby. Hey, either you'll be $1,500 richer than a Southwest heavyweight title better, or I'll be a lot richer, and I'll still have this bad boy around my waist. Either way, I'm happy.
Yeah. I would have to take some notes out of Hannibal's book there.
Hannibal didn't end too well, so I don't think that'd be a good one to take neither.
Yeah. That still could. That joke crazy. Man, I wouldn't want to be his cellmate, like roommate or whatever. Like,
same thing. It's the same thing.
Yeah, right.
Brother, thank you so much for doing this. Thanks so much for taking your time. I know you're a coach. You train students in out there in El Paso, but at the same time, the spotlight is here on you. What the advice? What you can tell the fans, tell the people, the girls, guys who wanted to get in this business from all over the world? What advice that you have for them? Because there are a lot of countries out there, they don't have any wrestling school and they can't afford it. I've seen it. I've seen people in India. I've seen people in Sri Lanka, in Singapore, things like that. They want to do this, but they don't know where to go, what to do. And again, we have everything in here. And again, you know, so what's the best advice that you have for the young talents, young ones, or people wanted to do this?
Um, I know that I think we all know that this business isn't for everyone. Okay. Now, there's some people that will say that, assess yourself reasonably. And if you know for a fact that if you can't be a wrestler, because there's some people that are just exponentially talented in the athletic department, they just have it. But for those that don't have the wrestling ability, there's so many amazing positions that are needed in this business, from being an announcer to being a ref to being a promoter to being a booker or learning the business on all different aspects or helping out with the ring setup. There's so many things that need to be done that needs to be given so much care and tender love that these positions are very valuable in the business. So don't ever think that your luck is done just because you can't wrestle in the ring. But for everyone else that's going to wrestle in the ring, I'll say the best thing to do if you really want it, find the best trainer that you can. Even if you find out a guy that's had 20, 30 years in the business, if he's done something, he knows what he's talking about. He has accolades. He can show you that he has the backing. Do your research in this business too. Look it up. Go on Google. Look up people. Find out what their background is, how long they've been in the business, who were they trained by. It's all out there. I mean, everything is open on the internet. Everything is open to everybody out there. Do your research and find out who's going to be most suitable for you. And also know where you want to go. If you want to go to WWE, if you want to go to AEW, then start working toward those styles of what they do to be presented on their program. Look at their programs and see what they have. Like they're telling you blatantly what they want. They want young guys with abs that can do crazy flips and get hurt. That's what they want. So if you think you're one of those guys, go apply. WWE, they want guys that look like they're believable, have the part, have the size, and can back it up, and also can have a little bit of talent in the ring. That's what they want to do. So you have that, go that route. Anything. If you want to go to New Japan, look at their talent, look at their size, look at everything they have going, look at the standards of the product, and then mimic everything you have, your character, everything off of their product to make sure you fit what they're doing, and then present your email, resume, whatever it is. But basically, watch the product that you want to go to, and then find the trainer that's going to give you a reasonable kind of accommodation to train you in that style to get where you want to go. If you can't afford it, I guarantee you, there's people out there that's cheaper. There's Dog Pound down there with Rodney Mack. There's Dustin Rose over there. There's Nightmare Factory. There's the developmental for WWE. There's also guys like me that's out here that's only charging a guy $100 down and $40 a month to come train with me. Like, hey, that's dirt cheap. I'm over here in El Paso, and I tell all the guys, hey, I'm having trouble with guys just paying $40 a month. That's crazy, right? But yet I give them the full business. But the guys that do come by and the guys that do are trained, they see the value in what I give them. And those are the ones I love. Those are the ones I respect. And those are the ones I'm going to give more of my time to. In fact, we actually got training in the next few minutes here. We're actually going to start training. The guys are probably down there already rolling around. I'm about to pull up in a few minutes. But like, go to a trainer that knows what they're talking about. If you go and you see a match and all you hear is complaining about a match, then that's not the trainer you want. You want a trainer that can go in there and assess his own mistakes and fix those mistakes. You want a guy that's willing to go in there and learn at the same time. Because even when I'm teaching, I still learn. I still learn even when I'm teaching someone that's brand new. I learned different ways to teach guys that's never bumped before. I learned to teach guys that's never done a headlock takedown before, how to do it, how to make a table, how to get them over, how to protect the person that they're in the ring with. So it's also a teaching process for the trainer too. It's a re-education for the education that you're about to give out. So you want to find trainers that definitely know what they're talking about, have that history, are still active, because trainers that are still active, guess what? They're going to get in the ring with you, and they're going to actually go hands-on so you can get that feel. There's a lot of trainers out there that can't get in the ring with you. It's kind of hard to get that one-on-one training if they're not in there with you, unless they have, like I said, the dummy guy, which I was a dummy guy, the guy to get in there and did all the moves with you. But it taught me how to train, and it taught me how to train others. So it's a learning process. If you want to be the best guy, be the teacher's pet, right? become the teacher's pet, be the guy that gets in there and learn everything and actually help other guys learn how to learn. And then you're going to be learning ahead of them because you're learning it from the teacher to give it to them. You know, so that's the best advice I can tell guys. Just hustle, get out there. If you still want to do it, there's some way, some means. Just train, watch videos, ask for help, and don't be afraid to ask for help. You know. And the last thing I'll say is this: a vet in the business, Kevin Sullivan, always told me this, and another vet in the business that passed away, Howard Brody, he told me this too. He said every day, if you want to get somewhere further in this business, there's two things you got to do: text somebody, call somebody. Text a friend in this business or call somebody in this business. You never know where your friends are. You never know. Just keep that relationship open. Keep that friendship open. Contact them. Don't just call them when you need shit. Call them when you're, find out how they're doing. Hey, Merry Christmas, Thanksgiving. How you doing, brother? How are you? Did you work this weekend? Who did you work? Oh, I know that guy. Yeah, we did this and this way back when. Keep communication with your guys because, you know, you never know where those guys are and you never know what's going on in their life. Maybe you can help them out. Maybe they can help you out. You just never know where they are. And just like I said, in this business, a big friendship. And the more friends that know you, the better places you can go.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, brother. Thank you so much. C-Dub, you have anything you wanted to ask him or add anything else?
Nah, man, it's been very information, a lot of great information, a lot of like knowledge dropping. Been very like, hey, I'm soaking it in, you know. If I'm soaking it in, I know it's there's gonna be others that's gonna want to soak this in. I can't wait for the episode to drop.
Thank you so much,
Really
my brother.
appreciate that,
Thank you.
man. Thank you.
I always thought that the superhuman. That's what he used to go by. Fuck this shit, and then he used to do that moonsault and shit on the furnitures. I always thought that he will get signed by AEW. I don't know what happened. but anyway, my brother, thank you so much for your time, and we really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me, man. Thank you. Thank you.
Like.